I'm not going to slouch as much this time. Okay, welcome.
Do I keep that in?
Yeah, you can keep that in. I've been noticing I've been slouching.
You've been watching it? Yeah.
Well, yeah, you always watch yourself when you make
never,
something.
ever.
And the problem is the chair and then the table, and it's like, maybe I should just lean forward more, but
you do that when we record video all the time. So
I lean forward
all the time. I'll get it framed right. And then you're like, hey guys, you jump forward.
But tell everybody, I'm a one take usually, right?
Mostly. Yeah. Yeah.
One take,
one shot,
one take. You want to know the key to one take? Don't give a rip about how you look,
just go,
how you sound. I never analyze the videos prior to.
No,
it's like I might be bloated that day. I might hate my hair. I might look like a pasty, whatever. You can't care. Like it's the moment you get in your head about how you look.
Oh, you'll never do video,
or you're going to waste hours doing video. I do know agents that
like retakes or something.
Oh, they'll spend 4 hours shooting videos. Like how much time have you wasted?
Yeah, it's such a waste. Shoot and go.
You can't shoot and go. We all look fat. Okay.
Yeah, you're never going to like
side profile, belly fat, whatever. Get over it. We're all getting older and getting fatter. And hopefully we're, trying
Nobody
to
cares because they're all the same too.
Nobody gives a rip. No. Yeah, totally. There you go. Anyways, didn't plan on that, but here we are.
A Little Oak Weekly.
Yeah, a Little Oak Weekly. Okay, we have a great show. I keep hitting my mic. We have a great show in store.
Yep.
Lots of good things to talk about. So we're going to start with just some office news and upcoming things that we'll get through first. So this coming Wednesday, this is going to go out on Thursday, Friday. This week,
today's
whatever.
Thursday, so probably
Thursday,
Friday.
so,
maybe today.
Wednesday, what day is that?
8
maybe? Or 7?
It's Wednesday next week. I feel like it's the 8th. For some reason, 8th is sticking in my head.
Is the 9th. Wednesday the 9th.
Obviously, Wednesday the 9th.
So Wednesday the 9th, we have an office meeting.
10 o'clock.
Starts 10 o'clock.
Abbotsford.
This one's in Abbotsford. Last time we were in Surrey.
Yep.
Great turnout in Surrey last month. Mm-hmm. Everyone came out from all different locations. This time, come on out to Abbey. Pardon me. We are going to do the regular office meeting thing. This is actually going to be the first time in a long time that David Rochelle is on vacation, is not going to be running the office meeting. So you'll have Davis and myself and Ray. We'll go through all the normal stuff. Might be a little more lively with the three of us.
I have a new offer for our agents that we just sorted out this week. That's going to be coming out for our agents for Doc Hub. So agents who are paying for like DocuSign or AuthentiSign, we can now do it through our office for $12 a month. So
I didn't even know this. You just shared this with me now.
Yeah. So I've already got one agent signed up to it.
Wow.
Gives agents the ability to do the signatures, edit PDFs, all that kind of stuff.
Can you give me in a sense, like, do I pay for these things?
You pay for DocuSign.
I pay for DocuSign.
And you pay over twice as much
per month?
Yes.
And now we're going to get this for half price?
But through Doc Hub. So not
so you different company, but the same source. Learn a different program.
Yeah, it's all built into Google
this is
Drive.
the Google.
We use this for our office.
Yeah, Doc Hub, Google. This is part of the Google Suite. So it's cheaper.
It's not part of Google Suite, but they integrate with Google Suite. We've used them like at Little Oak for, I think I got us into it probably 2 years ago, and just worked out this deal with them this past week. And so, our agents will get it for $12 a month. Super cheap. So I'm going to be talking about it at the office meeting. Right so people hearing this are hearing it beforehand.
Okay. So next Wednesday, the 9th, you're going to hear more about that.
Yep.
Thank you. Then after the office meeting, we are right into our next 90-day boot camp training session led by Ray this coming session, or I was going to say
that'll be at 11 o'clock. It's PDP. It will not be on Zoom if you're in person. That was actually something I should bring up. Every single in-person training we ever do will be PDP accredited. So if I ever forget to put it in an email, just know if it's an in-person training session, it's always going to be PDP accredited.
The topic of conversation next Wednesday at 11 a.m., PDP provided, is all about the money, so money management, and streams of revenue.
So these are two of the pillars.
These are two of the pillars, and Ray's covering off two of the pillars. I would say plan for, like realistically, office meeting is going to start just after 10, probably be wrapped up by 11:30, something like that.
Yep.
This will be high value, informative. Ray and I, as you guys know, we've, a lot of this is the same stuff we've known for years, but we've rejigged this. We've put a lot of time and effort into this. I believe the feedback from the first sessions has been very good. Yep. Big turnout. Lots of people have been messaging me saying how great it was. and we got lots of people participating in the activities of the 90-day boot camp. So anyways, Ray, next Wednesday, don't miss it. And
if you didn't make it to one, you should still come to this one.
Yeah. You don't have to be. Yeah, totally.
It's going to be good.
Yep. So that's that. Then just a couple things. I mean, I mentioned this, but David is away now until I want to say October 27 or 28. He's on a 3-week cruise. This is the first time the big guy.
Everywhere.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm really happy for him.
Me too.
He's been with us for a long time.
He's worked his ass off. Yeah.
I can't remember the last, he's never taken a vacation this long.
Not this long, no.
And we are excited for him to do this.
Super pumped.
And he's going to come back rejuvenated and ready to
too.
Working tanned.
Oh man.
So anyways, in that time, for the course of the next 3 weeks, you've got myself, you've got Davis Wallington, you've got Ray, obviously. If you've got managerial type needs or questions, I mean, you guys always call any one of us anyway, but I mean, I know that David's obviously the first go-to, as he should be, but he's away and we're going to let him have rest because that's important. And so lean on me and Ray and Davis in the meantime, and we'll make sure to be attentive to our phones in that time. So wanted to say that. And then lastly, on just the little bit of office news, there was an email that I think we had to save the date recently go over the Christmas thing. So November the 30th, I'm just saying this because, is that your phone ringing? Yeah. Oh, you got a message. It's amazing.
Sorry.
November 30th, we're doing the usual at the Is it a Clarion? It's a Clarion.
It's a hotel.
We've done this for years, but they seem to get better every year. You North Star peeps who joined us last year
had a blast. Yeah.
Had a blast with us. I would love to just see huge amounts of us out. I mean, not complaining about turnouts we've had in the past, but every time people come every year, they're like, man, that was so much fun. We're doing the poker tables again. We'll have dancing for those that want to be dancing. The food's great. We have hotel rooms, limited hotel rooms available that you can go and book. So if you're coming in from out of town and you want to just walk down the hall and, fall asleep in your room and go home in the morning, you can certainly do that. Of course, there's Uber and things like that, but, I have a feeling this year is going to be a really fun year, and we want to see all of your beautiful faces out. So just put that on your calendar and tell yourself.
You're supposed to RSVP to Christina so that we know numbers.
Yeah, please RSVP and just make it a priority.
It's going to be so fun.
Had the golf tournament we just did. I think we had 50 people out or something. Like every time we come away from one of those things, everyone says, "Oh, that was amazing to see everyone."
Yep.
And I think sometimes we find reasons not to go to social things because I get it; it's a pain in the ass and we don't always feel good, but this is worth it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Spend time together will be fun. So November 30th, put it in your calendar.
You wear whatever you want.
Yeah, no dress theme this year. Sorry, Christina. I know she's mad at me for that.
She is.
But you can come dressed however you want. Fancy, casual, whatever. I've never seen him dress up.
I don't dress up.
So yeah, you don't have to worry about themes. If you want to dress as a theme, do whatever you want, but come dressed however you want.
That's right.
Okay, we got through that. I want to talk about is there anything else you had to add to that, or you're good?
That's it. We're good.
You had your Doc Hub thing.
Yep.
So I want to talk about some best practices stories from the last couple weeks that I've encountered in the brokerage. So I'm going to tell one story.
See who's at the door?
Who's at the door? Oh,
I'm going to get him in here.
Mr. Rochelle, why don't you walk in front of the camera? Do you want to sit down or what's going on?
Well, no, I don't really want to.
No, sit down.
Turn me here. What's going on?
What did you come in for? What's happening?
Just to say hi.
I just coming in here, say hi.
Anytime
and goodbye.
Anytime he walks in like this, I'm actually terrified. I think I've done something wrong.
What have you done lately?
I probably have. Did you actually come to say goodbye?
Yes.
That's amazing. We just talked about you were going to be gone for a few weeks.
Yep.
And so are you checking out now or later?
A little bit later.
A little bit later.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I've also got a couple of Lions tickets
just gonna move that
to give away for tomorrow night because obviously I'll be in the air. So first come, first serve.
So that's a Friday night game.
Friday night,
so now we got to get this thing out. Now we got to get this edited and out. That's okay. We'll do it. Justin's capable.
Okay.
So Friday night.
Yep.
That's a good ticket.
7 o'clock.
And that's a must-win game. They need to win because they've been like.
They better win.
Yeah. They started hot.
Get the tickets if they want the tickets.
I'll just need their email address and I'll email it to them.
All right then.
Yep.
First come, first
There we go.
Yeah.
So
So I'm going to be shipping out for a few days. In the meantime, Davis or you or Ray can step in and help out, and welcome to my shoes.
We'll try not to screw it up while you're gone, Dave.
Oh, please. Don't do that.
I can't wait to start conversations with, well, David said. Oh, Dave. It's going to be
David
amazing.
who?
Yeah. No, we're excited to have you. You had 3 weeks. First time. I don't think you've
never
ever been away this
Never
long.
been.
Like maybe
Nope.
10 days, 9 days.
Yep. 10 is
That's good.
about it.
You know what? We won't
looking
screw.
forward to
We
it.
won't screw the farm up while you're gone. It'll be fine. You'll come back. All the
sure.
chickens will be alive. Everything will be. Everything
All
will
right.
be good.
Well, I just wanted to drop in, say hi and bye.
Beauty. David loves this too. He loves being on camera.
Yeah, no. All right.
Okay. Thanks, dude. Okay, Justin, back in.
Okay, adjust this mic so it's not like
Yeah.
giant level.
Thanks,
See you,
buddy.
man.
See ya. Okay.
All right. So
Before I was rudely interrupted.
best practices.
Best practices. So I'm going to tell, I think I can share the name. Yeah, I'm going to share the name. There's no
boy.
reason I can't share the name. No, it's a Jesse Bragg story. So,
Okay, our own agent. That's fine.
Jesse, now you know why I was calling you before I was getting ready to podcast, and no, you don't need to call me back. So I bumped into Jesse. I was actually in on the weekend. I bump into Jesse because Jesse's working. He had popped into the Abbotsford office. I came in to grab something. He's sitting there. I don't want to get into all the nitty gritty just for sake of time, but long story short is he says to me, I like physical mail better than emails when it comes to keeping in contact with clients, whether it be a database or a farm. And I thought, that's
Like he likes to. He likes
not that
to
he likes to
send,
receive
it. He likes to be sending.
He was making a bold statement. He was saying there's value in physical mail. So in a world where like that's kind of like anti what the messaging is now. And so I thought that was an interesting statement. So I dug into the story with him a little bit. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, let me tell you how I'm doing this deal right now. So as it turns out, he's in the office writing an offer with a buyer on this random, call it a Sunday afternoon, because somebody who he met years ago, who he has very little relationship with, but put him into the database, and just they get the regular, not emails, regular mailers. And for Jesse, that's like the Buffini stuff.
Yep.
Call him up out of the blue, and they said, hey, Jesse, remember us? We're ready to go buy a place now. Can you show us this place? We want to get going. And I'm abbreviating the story here a little bit, but I'm not joking. You can fact check this with Jesse. This is how it went. And so he shows him a place, and he's in the office writing an offer. And so he was sharing this with me going, and I won't forget his message to me, which was profound. Obviously, I'm retelling the story. He said, you can't unsubscribe from snail mail.
True.
And so because his frustration has been sometimes people who have transacted with him or like him or whatever, they hit unsubscribe, not because they don't ever want to work with Jesse again, but because our email inboxes are full of garbage and we're constantly doing that. The problem is that if you're only relying on email and important people unsubscribe to your emails, they're not intending the consequences that may in fact turn out from that, in that they won't actually see or hear from you ever. Yeah. If that's all you're relying on.
If that's all you're doing. Yeah.
So he was sharing this about snail mail, which I thought was interesting. Overlay that with my own story from a week prior. I get a random call. I get an email from somebody. I don't know these people from a hole in the ground. They said, hey, Andrew, we'd like to meet you. Come out.
They emailed you out of nowhere?
They emailed me. They didn't phone me. They emailed me. Introduced themselves. Didn't give me a whole lot of background. This is where we live. We'd like an evaluation. We need to sell our home.
Okay.
I look up the property address. It's just been listed with another agent, but it's off the market. But it's just off the market to the point where they can't go to back to market yet because it's cancel protected for a period of time. Interesting. I go meet these people. I walk in. Again, like I'm obviously wondering, like they must know somebody who knows me. I don't do a lot of outward advertising, obviously. And so I walk in, and as I'm walking in, I'm about to ask, how is it that I'm here? Do we have a common connection? We're walking in, and on the not living room, it was on the dining room table. I didn't count them, but it looked like anywhere between 7 and 9 of these 6x9 neighborhood cards that I've been sending out in this neighborhood.
So it's like a farm area that you were working?
It's a farm area that I've worked for a long, long time. Now, this isn't shocking to me. I've been farming for a long time and this happens, but that was just that's a physical mail story. And then overlay that with, and so, their message to me was like, we've been getting these for years.
Yeah.
And we knew that, you know, when we needed to sell, we'd call you. And then of course the next question is, well, why did you call the agent? Why didn't, and as it turns out,
family member or something.
well, yeah. So that first agent number one, surprise, surprise, was referred in. Right?
Okay.
Referrals are more powerful than anything else. They're more powerful than snail mail.
For sure.
But when that didn't work out, they returned to who's been putting things on our kitchen table for the last 6 years. And so, moral of the story, two pieces. Number one, contrary to, you know, current narrative, I still see value in snail mail, as does Jesse and others. Number two, in both these scenarios, return on investment was years later.
Yeah.
So while we all want to see results in 6 months, 12 months, whatever, I've got other stories that I could share that are similar where it's years later that you get the return. And while that doesn't meet today's immediate need, if you stick to something and you trust the results that others have gotten and you believe these stories, then sometime down the road, years from now, you'll be doing transactions that others aren't because you followed the process and stuck to it.
Right.
Jesse did a deal this week that other people don't do because he did something for years.
I think that's one of the struggles too that agents have, is that there is some consistency to it. It's not something you can run. You can't run a Facebook ad campaign for 6 months and maybe see results. When you're talking about some of this stuff, it's very long term and you got to commit to it.
I have had, what was that?
I left my water up on the table.
Oh, go get it. Go grab it.
Keep going.
Yeah. I'll keep talking while you're getting up. I have had at various times in my career, I've been asked this question, you know, like, you know, whether it be from new people or people I'm training, like, Andrew, you know, how did you do it? Or how do you do it? Whatever general question there's like that. And you know what? As time's gone by and as I've gotten older and my perspective's changed, I think I used to answer that question in a more, I don't want to say inaccurate way, but a way that makes me feel better about some things. So I would say, well, you got to do this, or this is the secret, or whatever, you know? And then I would point to things that I'm doing, which were clearly working. And I would say, well, this is how I do it. I think the farther I go, the more I think time in.
Consistency,
time in. Are there some things that are better than others? Yes, absolutely. But time in, you know, like there's lots of people that have been doing some things mediocre, but they've been doing them for 15 years. Yeah. And then in 15 years you go, oh, that person's got a pretty awesome business. They got a lot of repeat business, and they got a neighborhood that does well for them, or people in their database that love them and trust them. Time in. And that is not that's not sexy.
No,
it's not what someone new wants to hear.
Sure.
But it's fact. Time in. You cannot have a broad business with lots of depth and roots in 2, 3, or even 4 years. It takes time.
Yeah.
And so that's the truth. And so what do you do with that information? Well, figure out, you know, what is you and what you love and like, and stick to it. Stick to it in every marketplace. Stick to it in the markets where we've only got 7% absorption rate, and do it in the markets with 30% absorption rate.
Which you're talking about leads into, I was just double checking. I was right before I opened my mouth, but the bootcamp part 2, like Ray is literally focusing on all about the money and streams of revenue. Yeah.
So all about the money is, I mean, I don't want to speak for Ray, but he's going to talk a little bit about money management, because that's
still a big part of it, especially when you're talking about, you know,
100%
time in.
Yeah. And then streams of revenue will absolutely layer over with this. Anyways, rant done on that. Snail mail still live.
Still works.
Contrary to popular belief, there's, you know, proven examples of it, and time in doing something. You gotta stick to it over.
What was the thing that you sent them that they kept?
So I've been farming a neighborhood since 2011.
Okay.
2011, 10 years. No, way more than 10 years.
But that's fine. I wasn't going to correct you.
It might be 2012. It's 2010, 11, or 12.
Okay.
But it's basically like, so in addition to just listeds and just solds, pardon me, I send seasonally appropriate just marketing pieces, things that, you know, where whether I'm highlighting myself or what I do or how I do it, but like I would do things that are seasonally relevant. So like whether it's a Christmas thing, a Thanksgiving thing, a Easter thing or whatever. So, Valentine's, I've done everything over the years. Some things, it's funny. Like sometimes you deliver something and because you get a call on that week, you go like, oh, that was a really good one. That works.
Sure.
That's garbage too. Yeah. Like I view all this differently. It can go both ways. Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I think I've done some really good pieces that I didn't get a call about. Well, some of this is just dumb luck. Yeah. You got to land on someone's doorstep at the right moment. Mm-hmm. But I've had multiple circumstances in my career where I walk into a home and they've got a certain amount of these flyers that might be years old, but they took them, they liked them, they kept them, they stuck them on their fridge, on the counter. Whatever.
You also have yours hand delivered to a lot of them.
Pre-COVID, I always hand delivered. I paid someone to hand deliver. Right. Post-COVID, I dropped that. I stopped doing that. I do think hand delivery is better.
Because I take stuff out of my mailbox and it just goes straight into the recycling.
You do.
Because I recycle.
You do. Not everyone does.
I know not everyone
There's people
does.
that pay greater attention.
Think like what?
No question, hand delivery, door to door is better than mail.
Sure.
But I'm using mail now because I got annoyed.
Have you switched entirely to mail?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got annoyed having to manage the hand delivery process.
Person. Yeah.
Because it's like another person I got to hire, finding them. But from 2012 until 2020, it was all hand delivery. And I will swear that is I
do feel like it's probably more.
It's way better because at the very least, a person has to walk from their door, pissed off at your junk mail piece, and spend 30 seconds walking to the garbage. That's better than going into
it.
Exactly.
You're not in the pile.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I had people that didn't like it and we would just take them off the list and whatever.
Did people actually do that? Want to be taken off the list?
Oh yeah. I had a list of probably 15 people that didn't want to get
Did they reach out to you to tell you that?
Oh yeah.
Really?
And sometimes they reach out angry. Oh, did I ever tell you this story?
I love that.
I have a story where this is actually an amazing story. So someone reaches out and says, take me off your, keep your people off my yard and take me off your list. Okay. No problem.
Okay.
So, and she would have had that first an email and then maybe a conversation with my assistant at the time. I can't remember if it was Christy or my old assistant, Susan, but, so we take them off the list. And then sure enough, like months later, my delivery person screws up and goes and delivers again. Sure. So now I get even more angry, email or whatever. So I don't know. I don't think about how I do these things. I just do it in the moment. So I thought, well, how can I, because this person was like kind of heated and I am concerned about them like spreading bad information about me in the neighborhood. So I got someone how did I do this? I got someone to hand deliver flowers.
Yeah. I was going to say, do some sort of like, I'm sorry, basket.
So I did a hand deliver flower. And then I responded to the person. I think I sent her an email and I said something like, hey, I know you don't want people on your yard, but I thought you'd make an exception this time around. My sincerest apologies. I'll probably screw up again. Yeah. And when I do, I'll get you something else.
That's actually awesome.
So then she gets back and she's like, oh my God, you're the greatest ever. So I took a negative and it turned into like the most positive. And while I actually never ended up selling their home.
They probably weren't ever saying anything bad.
No, they didn't say anything bad to me. And I have worked for their friends. Now, whether or not that turned into a referral, I don't know, but I've worked for their friends. We'll say yes. We'll call it a win. Yeah. So, awesome. So yeah, I did have some people that didn't want to be delivered to. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. That was that stuff I wanted to talk about. Okay. I got a couple more rants.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I call them rants because did I get frustrated and pissed off at a couple things this week. So.
We're not naming people though this time.
Well, not on the show. Not on the show. No, I'm not going to name.
Gone, so.
I'm not going to name people. No, it's not. I wasn't like angry at. It's a thing that's in our industry, and I don't know why. And so I'm willing to admit wrong. If people think I'm wrong, fine. I'll say my opinion's wrong. But I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to say this is what I think.
Yeah.
If people don't agree, that's fine.
That's fine.
Okay, rant number one.
Yeah. What's wrong with you today?
I don't know. Too much coffee, not enough water. Dehydrated. Rant number one. Why in the world? I'm going to make a statement.
It's big.
Why in the world, if we do a subject to sale offer, and I'm not getting into there's opportunity for subject to sale offers. I've done them myself. They work, and it's a necessary evil in a high inventory time.
Yep.
That's not the purpose of the rant. The rant is this: why in the world on a subject to sale offer, in that standard clause that we have where it's like, in the event that the seller receives another offer or another acceptable offer, they can deliver notice requiring the buyer to remove conditions within, and I don't care if it's 24, 48 hours, 72
There's
hours.
holidays, blah, blah, blah.
I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
What I care about is not to include Sundays and statutory holidays. Why?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Why are we doing this?
Mm-hmm.
I understand in 1975, when this clause maybe was first invented, when people actually didn't work on Sundays and statutory holidays.
Do you think that's why? Oh, yeah, okay.
I cannot make a good argument for it either way. Okay, so if I'm representing a seller and I accept a subject to sale offer, why
would you not want
Why do I want to do that? Why do I want to restrict my ability to bump? I want to have...
It's definitely in the benefit of the buyer, for sure.
It's 100% in the benefit of the buyer. And so I can find an argument, I guess, if I'm representing the buyer. Sure, I want it because it gives me more time. But
the fact is, it doesn't, though.
It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't. And if you're going to be able to remove... So I've been in this scenario. Like, I've had buyers, we write offers, and it's like, hey, guys, we might get bumped. Are we or aren't we capable?
Yeah.
If you're capable, you're capable.
Yeah.
And then when the bump comes, it's like, screw it, we're moving forward. We're doing it. All this is doing is actually delaying either the inevitable, or it's restricting the sale from actually proceeding in a way that it should. And it is definitely not beneficial to a seller to accept a subject to sale offer that does not, where you can't include Sundays or statutory holidays in the bump.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a little hot because I just went through this and it was a little frustrating for me. I won't get into the details, but it was totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
Should have never been a part of the deal. It didn't change the outcome.
No, it won't. Yeah.
All it does is it slows down the process, and
you stress for longer.
There was probably a time in like 1988 where our business existed Monday to Friday, not including Sundays and stat holidays. I get it.
Yep.
That's not the way we operate anymore. In fact, we even have lenders that look at and approve files on Sundays and stat holidays.
Yeah.
Underwriters work on Sundays and stat holidays. This is stupid. We should not do this anymore. That's my rant.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Is that an added part, or is that actually by default in the clause?
It's a default wording that you have
statutory, the holidays and okay.
I believe that not to include Sundays and stat holidays. So I get it if you're working for your buyer and it's like, well, it's better for my buyer. Why wouldn't I include it? Sure, fine, whatever. But even if I'm repping a buyer, I'm not dying on that hill.
No.
If the buyer can't remove if their home's sold, then you could say, well, they might get an extra day or two. Sure, they might, but the chances of that, so again,
that day or two has to line up so incredibly well for that to work. Though.
And I get it. Like from the buyer perspective, is it better for the buyer?
Sure.
Yes. The point I'm trying to make is if I'm repping a seller, there's no way I'm having that in the deal.
You're just
it's not happening.
Yeah.
You can have, if we're going to do a subject to sale offer, yes, be thankful that we're willing to do the subject to sale offer. You're not getting the Sundays and stat holidays. If I want to deliver notice at 8 p.m. Saturday night and roll that clock, guess what? You've got until either 8 p.m. Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, depending on the amount of, I have no problem if someone says, we're going to do 72 hours. At least then you have control of the days, you know, from the get-go. But if you happen to get this weird bump time and then you land on this, long weekend where Monday is a holiday, now you actually don't truly have control of the time span. So negotiate whatever you want, 24, 48, 72, I don't care, do 120 hours. For crying out loud, that stupid Sunday and stat holiday thing is bogus. Take it out, in my opinion.
I'll scratch it out before.
And do what you want with my opinion. You can throw that out too.
For your buyers though?
For my buyers, I would say, like if we're writing a subject to sale offer, probably what I would be inclined to do with my buyers is I would write, well, I might either leave it in the standard language, but I'd be more inclined to say, write the offer with 72 hours, but take out the Sunday and stat holidays. And then it's a trade-off. You're saying to
it's a negotiating thing. Sure.
We're not doing Sunday and stat holidays. We don't know where this is going to land. Who knows where we are 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now. I'm more speaking from the listing agent perspective. I just don't know why people go with that Sunday and stat holiday.
You know, I'm even thinking about it now from even the buyer's perspective. It doesn't change anything. It's very unlikely that changes something. if you're writing a subject to sale, there's typically something that needs to line up for it to work. And that 48 or 72 hours is not going to be the difference for you.
Changes nothing. Okay. That was rant number one. Yeah.
I'm with you on that one.
Rant number 2. This is a good one. Okay. So like on like the scale of anger, that rant one was like maybe 6 out of 10. This is a 9 out of 10.
Really?
Oh my goodness. So I was recently showing some properties, and I don't show as many properties as like, you know, whatever. It's not like I show a ton of properties anymore or now, but so there's people that do more than me. And so maybe this is like more common than I think, but I haven't encountered this in a while. I showed 4 properties. Of the 4 properties, 3 of them, the listing agent insisted, wanted, needed to be there. I don't know why. I don't care. That doesn't matter. That's not the point of my rant. If you got to be there to open up because keys are a problem or your sellers are there or whatever, I've been there. I get it. That's fine. That's not the issue.
I feel like I know where you're going.
The issue is, I'm going to stare right into the camera. How is it that a listing agent thinks hovering in the home while the buyers and the buyer's agent are trying to view the property, awkwardly standing in the same room, standing saying awkwardly close, saying uncomfortable things, saying things that are irrelevant, clearly trying to like, I don't know, be a salesperson, but this is not your job. Yes, we need to sell the property. Like if you have a listing, it is your job to highlight the features, sell it, and make sure that people are aware of that. So that is the appropriate time and place for that are, you know, feature sheets, conversations with buyers agents in advance, even conversations with buyers agents and buyers at the very beginning of the showing. If you insist on being there at the door,
go away
out.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Of the property.
Yeah. It makes it really uncomfortable.
I haven't had this happen in a long time. No. Like so I'm not aware. Maybe this is normal. I don't know. I hope to God this is not normal. It was so awkward. So my buyer, so I'm sitting there and like, I could tell in the first one, the buyers were like, you know, this is weird. And so
it happened out of 3 or 4?
3 out of 4 in one day.
But they all came in as well. It was like being there fine, but they actually were involved in the showing.
Okay. So I had one listing agent open up. Well, did nothing, said nothing to us, said, don't mind me. I'm just going to be in here on the couch, sat on the couch in the living room, said nothing the whole time, scrolled his phone.
Still a little weird.
Yeah. Cause we want to have like open and honest conversations about the home, but we're not going to do that as long as he's sitting there. So there's not, in a circumstance like that, there's not even an argument to be made that he was making a sale.
Yeah, there's no
He was doing nothing. He was scrolling Instagram. He
opened the door.
But we were now in the home with him, which was highly annoying.
Yeah, weird.
Number 2, another agent who, you know, shows up, says he needs to be there, sent us in the touch base, you know, I need to be there. Sellers want me there. I don't have a problem with that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Not what I'm ranting about. Walked with us from room to room through the entire showing.
Said anything?
The only so I have had this before where I have actually looked at
asked
agents.
an agent.
I have done that. I years ago, I looked at someone as politely as I possibly could. And I said, hey, we would actually really love some privacy.
A few minutes.
Would you mind stepping outside? And in this scenario, this agent was newer. I was worried about, I could tell he was nervous. So I didn't want to embarrass him and crush him.
Yeah, sure.
So I didn't say anything. So because I was concerned that like, you know, he's probably, you know, whatever. This is new for, I didn't want to give him a bad taste. So I chose not to, but it was incredibly awkward for the buyers.
Yeah.
And the other reason I didn't say anything is because I knew the moment we walked in, we weren't buying the house anyway. So it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Had it been a house of interest, I actually probably would have got the agent to leave in the kindest, gentlest way possible. I don't know who's coaching this guy on this or who's telling him. And I mean, he's probably a lovely person and I'm not attacking him in any way, but like, this is terrible, guys. This is bad. This is not good practice. We need to be giving buyers and their agents space to talk openly and converse and just be comfortable. That might mean that the conversation trails off into what they did camping last weekend.
Yeah.
Or like, anything. We all know the sales process is one that maneuvers all over the place. You're not necessarily always talking about the house.
No.
But if you do want to talk about the fact that the blinds are crap or the paint colors are garbage. How comfortable are you doing that in front of somebody who's
That's right. Let the sellers listen on their cameras.
exactly, which that's another topic because I've had that too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about that in this forum,
Yeah.
but anyways, the rant is if you have a listing and you need to be there for the listing because of whatever reason it is, they're all good or fine. In my opinion, doing a great job is greeting people at the front door, welcoming them in. If there's something you need to highlight or point out, personally, what I'll do in that scenario, I'll say in advance to the agent before the showing, I'll say, hey, there are these 3 things that are important to know about.
Yep.
I would like an opportunity to highlight those things at the beginning or the end of your showing. Which would you prefer?
Yep.
Because the buyer's agent is the boss.
Mm-hmm.
The buyer's agent is there with their clients.
Yep.
You are not in control. This is your listing. Yes. Nobody in that showing gives a rip about you.
Yep.
They're not there for you.
Yep.
Make the buyer's agent feel like they have the power.
Mm-hmm.
Put it to them. When you ask this, it's actually, the response has been tremendous. Whenever I ask that, they're always like, oh, I appreciate you asking. Could you do this? Would you mind doing this?
Yeah.
And the odd time I have had people literally come out the front door, flag me into the property because they have a question and they want to ask the question in front of the buyers. Now I am invited into the space.
Mm-hmm.
I am a welcome part of that conversation, not an unwelcome part.
Mm-hmm.
Please, North Star and Little Oak agents,
just chill at the door.
I would, and you know what? Some of you are probably listening to this and maybe you've never heard this before or, whatever. I'd be more than happy to have conversations with you about what this should look like. There are do's and don'ts of this. There's proper ways to show a home, proper ways to talk about a home. But I hope that this is not as common as it appeared on 3 out of 4 of my showings. But that is not best practice. And as a listing agent, you are not wanted in that conversation. Not to mention, if we get into agency stuff, you're not supposed to be there. You're not supposed to be hearing what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. So that's the end of my rant.
Chill outside.
Yep. Do a great job before and after and talk to the buyer's agent about it, but give people time.
I think you're actually doing a disservice to your seller.
100%
because the buyer is going to be on edge.
In all 3 circumstances, we left the property faster than we would have.
The buyer probably didn't
because the buyer was like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
This is not
comfortable. It makes it really uncomfortable.
Yep. So we left, actually, ironically, all 3, we absolutely left faster than we would have. In one of them, we didn't even go into the basement because it was so awkward. So the one that we were getting followed room from room, it was like, we got done the upstairs. We hadn't gone to the basement and they were like, okay, we're done. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
That was it. That wouldn't have happened. We would have lingered longer.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Woosah. I think that's all I have for today. Unless we have to talk about anything else.
Nope. We got everything.
Okay.
Office meeting next week. David's got tickets, apparently.
Yes. Don't forget that. David, BC Lions tickets Friday. Those are really good. By the way, those are good seats.
Are they?
I think they're like 40. I want to say they're 40-yard line.
I think we've gone to them before.
Yeah, they're like 40-ish yard line, lower bowl down. They're good. And it's a fun time. So reach out to David.
You have to just email him.
Yeah. Get those tickets.
See you guys next week at the thing.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this again.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.